Good evening, everyone, or whatever time it may be for you. My name is Michael Garcia, and welcome to a special episode of The Sailor Station. Well, it looks like it's that time of year, December, a time when temperature drops, decoration sales top, and Mariah Carey songs play nonstop on every radio. In this month of December, families are eager and are awaiting Christmas time. However, I think before we get to our peak in terms of Christmas festivities, it would be interesting to take a look at what some of our fellow students have been involved in. Now, some people may call some of these activities nerdy or geeky, but I like to look at it as people just enjoying things and loving them. Plus, even I can be a little geeky about certain things at times. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce a new addition to the Sailor Station broadcast family. Welcome to Nerd Culture. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has become an icon over the past decade because of its expansive universe and now becoming one of the longest-running film franchises in film history. Many fans have constant debates on elements they love or do not love about this film franchise. Now joining me, we welcome Antonio Saul, Jacob Reyes, and Michael Perpero for a discussion on this phenomenon of a film series.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe has seen numerous battles. Battles between good and evil, battles between father and daughter, and even battles between two best friends. But none of those battles compare to the epic proportions of the debate we're about to experience tonight. I'm joined by Jacob Reyes and Michael Perpero, and we'll be discussing what the best Marvel movie is. Jacob, take the floor.
Okay, so I think there's a lot of exciting movies in the MCU. I can already tell what Michael's is probably going to be, but I think my choice would be Avengers Infinity War, because I feel like it's just probably the most powerful, resonant Marvel movie that they've made, and they probably won't top it. And honestly, that's okay, because it's quite the spectacle.
All right, thank you. Jacob, that was some eloquently put words. Michael, the floor is yours.
Basically, I have no hate against Infinity War. It's definitely my second favorite. They're both really close, but for me, Endgame was just there was so much hype behind it, and I personally think it lived up to the hype, and it was just really entertaining, exciting movie, and probably one of the best movie experiences. So yeah.
So I noticed that both of you guys chose Avengers movies. What makes the Avengers series better than the rest of the movies in the MCU?
Well, it's basically the big battle chapter in the book. It's where we get to see everyone. There's a character for everyone. With the other movies, like Ant-Man or Iron Man or something like that, that might not be your favorite superhero, but with the Avengers movies, there's someone for everyone in the theater. And to see a huge culmination, it's something really exciting to see.
Both of you made some excellent points. I now want to take it back to our initial discussion. Michael, what makes Avengers Endgame better than Avengers Infinity War in your eyes?
I think Endgame is better than Infinity War because Infinity War is definitely unique. The good guys lose, and I think that's what a lot of people like about Infinity War. But for me, Endgame, seeing all the Avengers come together at the end for that final fight was something that, for me, just cannot be topped in any superhero movie.
See, I kind of believe that the final battle at the end, despite a lot of people sharing similar sentiments to you, Michael, I feel like it's a little bit underwhelming for me. Not to undervalue the culmination of 11 years of Marvel movies, but I felt that it was kind of just a big CGI mess, but that's not to say that you should enjoy it. I definitely enjoyed it, but I feel the battle at the end of Infinity War, on Titan and everything, I felt that was more impressive to me.
All right, well, you guys have definitely made some great points. I do agree with a lot of the sentiments from both of your arguments. If I had to pick a side, I'd probably lean towards Jacob. I do prefer Infinity War to Endgame, but that's not to take anything away from Endgame. They're both incredible movies, and movies that if you haven't seen, sorry for the spoilers, but you should still check them out. There's been a lot talked about tonight, but at the end of the day, we can recognize that Marvel is fantastic at what they do, and they continue to make incredible blockbusters for us to enjoy. Thank you, Michael and Jacob, for your time tonight. I've been Antonio Saule, and these have been our thoughts on two of the best Marvel movies in history.
As you can see, these three definitely love the MCU and the impact it's had on them. I also love how even though Jacob and Michael have differing opinions, they were able to have a civil discussion on them, and they were able to agree to disagree. At the end of the day, like Antonio said, the epic conclusion these films brought to many fans was simply fantastic. Now, for our next and final segment, before we head back into the studio, I delve into a game that some may not know of. More specifically, a role-playing game that accepts anyone and everyone to join. I also delve into how this game can still be playable during this time of seclusion. Greetings to all my fellow peers. My name is Michael Garcia, a fellow student at Oceanside High School, and a broadcasting student as well. Now, as we all know, the pandemic has led to the separation of friend groups and socializing, and some people actually find it hard to come up with a way to hang out while still maintaining COVID safety guidelines. I'm here to tell those people that there is a way to socialize with your friends safely. Many others may call it a simple game for nerds, but I call it Dungeons and Dragons, a role-playing game that requires no complicated rule system, only your friends, some dice, and your imagination. Now you may be asking, how can I trust someone else's word that doing this during the pandemic is safe? The good news is you don't just have to take my word for it, you can also take my experience. Today I'll be interviewing two of my very good friends, Paul Gretsch and Thomas Biamonte, on how we managed to play the game during COVID and why this particular game is one of the most unique games ever created. Hello everyone, today I am here with two of my friends, Thomas Biamonte and Paul Gretsch. When did the idea kind of come to you to play the D&D storyline, during the pandemic?
Now during quarantine, Paul was interested, as well as Michael, in doing D&D again, continuing that story, except with new characters, obviously, and making a bigger adventure,
So far, what would you say was the biggest highlight in our campaign?
We basically took some time to make this plan, and then we essentially spent an entire session executing that plan, and every step of the way it was just fun.
So how well do you think we've been able to handle meeting up and all that?
I think that we've been able to do it, fine. We've been social distancing properly, which unfortunately some people haven't been doing here in New York. And we've been properly doing the story. We've been taking proper precautions without suffering from losing the story. Losing parts of the story.
If you were to describe D&D, what makes it special to you personally?
What I love about D&D is that it has layers upon layers upon layers of different gameplay aspects.
It incorporates imagination. So in order to play the game, you don't need a full studio set. You don't need all these complicated technological pieces. Really, it's just using your imagination and some boards and a set of die and maybe even some maps, and you're kind of able to immerse yourself into this world that you've created, or that specifically the DM has created. All right. So thank you guys so much for coming here and doing this interview. I really appreciate it. Well, sadly, that's all the time we have for today. As you can see, our Oceanside High School students are still able to enjoy the things they love while being safe, respectful, responsible, and still having a good time. It's always empowering to see our Oceanside youth thrive to become the next generation that people will look up to. It just goes to show how inspiring, unique, and creative the Oceanside community can be. Be sure to subscribe to the Sailor Station YouTube channel for more broadcasts, and be sure to tune in to our next episode where we finally delve into all our favorite winter holiday festivities. I'm Michael Garcia, and for all things Sailor Nation, we are the Sailor Station.